So we are going to talk about what we did in our project on narrative visualization of cultural information. And when we talk about narration, each one of you knows storytelling is as old as human beings. So we always use stories to ensure our transmission of information, and that's why it's very important. But it's also an important topic from a research perspective, and that's why people started to think about what makes a story, what are important characteristics of stories. And one definition is that stories are sequences of causally related events that unfold over time and create attention and leaving lasting impressions. So when we have got this kind of chain of events, I think someone has a Zoom echo here. Okay. Yeah, it's better now, I think. You have got this chain of events that are in the real world, and those are resembled in the story as a chain of information units. And parts of these information units could also be visualization as one option. What are other characteristics of a story? It's not only a chain of events. What's also important is not only the plot, but the characters. So we need to have some kind of protagonists, antagonists, who really make the tale lively, who make it human. And in Intavia, as we told you, we have got many different entities, and that's why in Intavia, every entity could be the hero of a story. So you could tell a story about a person, about an object, about a group of actors, or an event, or a place. So every entity can be the hero of your story. We combine visualization with stories, and there the information is arranged differently, because in visualization you present all the information at once and arrange it differently as stories in a narrative order. So you have to think about how can we combine these. And there are different options how we can combine visualizations and narration. And in our project, we decided to focus on slideshow designs. And I will give over to Jakob, who is going to present you how the storytelling creator works and how you can create slideshow-based stories in Intavia.
Yeah, so also hi from me. As said, I will walk through the story creator of Intavia. So in Intavia, we have a two-stage process of story creation. So the domain expert is creating a story in the story creator, which is then deployed and reviewed and presented in the story viewer. So the stories are created and crafted in the story creator, where we easily create new stories by stating some basic meta information, such as the title, copyright information. And similar to the Visual Analytics Studio, we're interacting with our predefined collections and entities within it, and we can craft our visualizations for our visualization-based storytelling. So here we're working with a manually created dataset or curated dataset by Anja Grebe, who is also in the audience. And we're creating some example story slides to give you an introduction to it. To have seamless transactions between the same visualization throughout different slides, we have so-called selected or highlighted focus events, and we can select them by click, so that in the viewing process then afterwards the visualization view can zoom onto these points to highlight them. And we're annotating these events throughout the lifetime here of Albrecht Dürer by, for example, additional text given by title and text to have a narration thread there, a narrative thread throughout our story. Of course, we can further then create new slides. and also reuse already existing visualizations. As we saw in the Visual Analytics Studio, we can reuse these visualizations in our story slides and can annotate them as well with further multimedia data, such as images here for the travel towards the Netherlands by Albrecht Dürer. Given by this temporal coloring on the map as well, and artworks he crafted throughout the journey. So far, we had this two-divided screen with visualizations on the left side and content on the right side, multimedia content. But we can also switch over to other layouts. Here, we restricted it to one single visualization because of mobile versions of these stories. But we can focus on two contents, actually, and this is what we're going to hear. So here we are creating another image and stating a quiz with multiple possible answers to make it more interactive, to challenge the user a bit, to create some gamification incentives there, and asking about the content of the picture here, actually. Towards the end of Dürer's lifetime, we can focus on specific words using our HTML container, where we can reuse other visualizations or contents, such as Google Books, focusing on theoretical works by Dürer here, or I also found the grave in Sketchfab, so a 3D model of his grave, so we can try to make all of it more tangible, and so we can connect further multimedia to actual data points in our curated data set here. And the whole Dürer story is already implemented in the first version and is online as example story on the web page. And through the play button there, we end up then in the story viewer. Just to give an outlook to some further features we wanted to add are so-called nested slides. So, for example, in this trip to the Netherlands, we could drill down and zoom into it to go through specific stations throughout the journey there, or we could also just jump over it and continue our journey throughout his life. And furthermore, we want to guide the user more in the process of the story creation by improved text with linking or hints, such as drafted here, that we maybe just have pre-selected data points and then add some guidance how to interact, visualize with it, and contextualize it. Just to mention some of the challenges to round this up, we experienced that the creation of these visualization-based storytellings need a lot of time, creativity, and of course domain knowledge, but also the technical understanding. I mean, we are all used to it in these interdisciplinary projects, that we need a lot of transdisciplinary communication. Of course, also the data sparsity, that it's not that interesting to tell the story with just a few data points. And this is why we focus on, or wanted to enable the addition of further data points, of course, throughout the curation lab, but also all the annotation, which is still needed to tell the story. And we're still working on the seamless transitions between different visualizations, and of course their configuration within the creator, and the same holds for the whole appearance. So the question is, if the creator is already kind of a preview or just a tool to process it, or if we somehow already should include some mechanics to review it already in the process of the creation. And yeah, by this, I will hand over to the story viewer.
Hello, everyone. So I think Jakob gave a really good insight into a very important part of the storytelling suite, which is the story creator. But how are the stories released? So the idea of the project also is to have a story viewer, so an application for the interested public to consume the stories. So the stories will be released as a web application for both mobile and desktop, and also as a native mobile app. But I will get to that a bit later, the reason why. So let's have a little walkthrough through the story viewer. So if possible, open the video for me. It's a YouTube video, so... No. I mean, I can try to just click. I think we have to change from the presentation to YouTube. So what you will see in a minute is the story of Dürer, and yeah, we recorded in the desktop version, and it's basically everything you saw in the creator, but for the audience, so in a more like appealing way, and yeah, it would be nice if we could. I don't know what I can do here. Not much, I guess. I don't. No. No.
Maybe we can just continue with the next slides.
It's a bit sad, but we will share the link to the story viewer with you later. So it's already optimized for desktop and also for mobile. We're working a bit on the mobile version, but you, as Eva said, it will be a slideshow type of a story where you can click through the story. On the left side, you have either a visualization or an image. And on the right side, you have text, video, quizzes, images, and also all these entities on, for example, this map visualization. You can hover over them and get some information on them. So yeah, overall we wanted to create, yes. Yeah, exactly. And click on, yeah, it's already running, or play. Yes. So this is the Albrecht Dürer biography story. On the left, you see a timeline of his life, and yeah, you can click through the story, and this all is like mobile optimized. So also on a mobile, it would be possible to click through this story. You see a timeline visualization with the different entities, and as Jakob mentioned, there are entities you can highlight. But you can also hover over the other entities and get some information from there. Yeah, it supports all types of content. And this is just one of 5 stories that we will publish as a result of this project. We'll try to emphasize on different kinds of stories: object stories, actor stories, mixed stories, stories that come directly from the knowledge graph, and yes. I think that's basically it, but you see like the creator part was more like the editor part that we saw earlier, and this is the part for people who are interested in this kind of stories, so for everyone to consume the stories without any knowledge. And it's always, yeah, it's lies. Here you see quizzes. Which one is the genuine Dürer? Hair. What's your guess? I think we can stop with that now and go back to the presentation, because I think my 5 minutes are over. All right, thank you very much. So what else do we want to tackle in this project? So as you may know, I'm from Fluxguide, and we are focusing on different solutions mainly for visitors experience. So we are already in that field, and we also try to embrace a bit more than the storytelling that you've seen before. We also want to bring the story into the real world, so for the users to also have their own physical world and include the story in that. So we are trying to, right now we are building this VR object viewer, where you can use cultural heritage objects for storytelling. These 3D objects can be enhanced by annotations. So the whole idea is that the story will be enhanced by this kind of development that we are currently on. And I think that's that from my side. Thank you.
I'm going to walk you quickly through some open challenges that might also be interesting for the following panel discussion. So there's one question is whether it's sufficient to write a story to grab the attention of a viewer. And there is a study that we are currently conducting on this question of a story hook, whether visualizations can act also as a story hook and really attract the attention of a viewer, and how we have to start a story to really be attractive. So that's something that is an open question still. Then there is also this question of augmented reality, virtual reality. Can we bring visualization also to the augmented and mixed realities? So here you see a visualization of road temperature as a use case where it was done, but in the cultural heritage we are not aware of any objects where you have got visualization as an augmented tool in museums, for example, or in cultural heritage sites. So that could be also interesting. There's the question, how much guidance do we need to create stories within the cultural heritage context? So we have now a creator, if you just give it out to people, will they be able to create compelling stories? Or do they need further guidance? We are currently working on a survey on storytelling in that field, but it's not published yet. So stay tuned, it will come. Then is the question of this kind of inflationary use of narration, storytelling as story selling, as it's mentioned in that book. So do we use too many stories? Are people getting too much used to it to be really attractive? that's something that we also want to pose here. And there's also this idea of generating AI-based stories, generating stories automatically. I think that's also something. There are already stories out there, but not with visualizations yet. I think it has to be emphasized yet, but maybe in the last panel there is going to be some further ideas on this aspect. And that's it from our side. Should I go back? You're welcome. So let's create stories happily ever after. And with that, I give over to Valentina.